home ownership and pricing and the economy if the tax deduction on mortgage interest were eliminated. Mitt Romney won't say whether mortgage interest is among the tax breaks he plans to cut. Needless to say, it is a very controversial topic.
With a lot of people. But can it happen? Would it happen? What if it did happen? John Berlau, senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, he considers the mortgage interest tax deduction what he calls an anti-growth distortion. But then there's real estate attorney Sherry Olafson, who says this is no time to be discouraging homeowners. Her new book is called Financial Fresh Start. Will be out this fall. John, make the case against the mortgage deduction right now. Why kill it?
Well, because one of the reasons I think it fueled the housing bubble, that this was the only type of consumer interest deductible, whereas interest from your car loan, interest from credit cards was not. So people were rolling all of this interest into refinance, into home equity loans for their homes, putting their credit card debt. It was one of the things that fueled the bubble and then caused the crash.
But there's a reason for that, right, John? We presume that home ownership is good in America, and so we want to encourage that kind of activity. What's wrong with that thinking?
That's the wrong kind of, because there are many American dreams. We've distorted investment into the real estate market, into the home building market, away from biotech and technology and other sectors, which could really help grow our economy just as much, if not more. I would be in favor of eliminating this so we can preserve and pursue more tax cuts that are more pro-growth.
Okay, Sherry, make the case for the mortgage deduction.
Easy, real easy. There's no question that two of our biggest challenges today are growing the economy and shrinking the deficit. But we all know that the economy is not going to fully recover without housing. And trust me, you've seen it. All we need is to give people another reason to walk away, or home buyers another reason to sit on the fence. I mean, the wallets we're talking about here
hold on. Why can't the economy? Hold on. Why can't the economy recover without housing? One of the spirits of John's argument is that housing became too big a part of the economy, and if we just go back to that, you've got the same kind of economy that isn't the one that we necessarily want or was good for us. We can recover the economy in other ways, can't we, Sherry?
But let's drill down below the economy. Let's drill down to what that's made up of, which is individuals. And factually, 75% of the middle America's wealth has been in housing. Homeowners have traditionally been worth as much as 8 times as renters. So that's the nest egg. That's a stepping stone to upward mobility. That's the forced savings. That's the retirement account. And we know that that's what makes people feel comfortable. It makes them feel more comfortable spending. The last thing we need to do for these 75 million homeowners who have been relying on the mortgage interest deduction, and in fact who bought in reliance, who've lost up to 50% of their home value, 25% of whom are underwater, is give them one more reason to potentially walk away.
John, the mortgage deduction has been around a lot longer before the housing bubble occurred a few years ago. I mean, to blame the housing bubble on the mortgage deduction is a little distorted itself, don't you think?
Well, no, not really, Bill, because it's only in the past couple decades with other tax reform that mortgage interest has been the only type of interest that was deductible. That was the tax reform of '86.
Yeah, so but you can't write off your credit card debt anymore, and credit card debt still goes up too.
But that's exactly the problem. People were putting their credit card debts into home equity loans and using that and just adding more debt and fueling the mortgage bubble because of the fact that mortgage interest was the only thing that was deductible. And now if you have more pro-growth tax cuts and you phase out, not end immediately, but phase out, I think you'd strengthen the economy overall, including the housing market. If housing goes slightly lower, you might get more buyers on the fence to look at some of the slightly lower prices in the highest cost
You know what,
market.
guys, though? Unfortunately, right now, it's not that scientific. I mean, there's plenty of mountains of academic research on both sides of this. But the anecdotal evidence shows us that average Americans out there are looking at things like this and not being encouraged to borrow more, but being encouraged to stay put and being encouraged to value homeownership, which is part of the foundation of what our economy is based on.
Have we overdone the homeownership thing, though, Sherry? Have we made too much of homeownership being a hallmark of success here in the United States? If you don't own your home, you're not a success.
Now, there's a difference between home ownership and sustainable home ownership, and that's really what we're encouraging, and that's what this country was about until the last decade or so, which is a whole other discussion, because that goes to just the ability to make ends meet is one of the reasons people have been borrowing against their homes. But the foundation of owning your home and striving to eventually pay it off, eventually own it free and clear, and be able to retire using that nest egg, have that financial safety net.
The thing is, once you pay it off, you don't get the deduction anymore, right? Once you pay it off, the deduction goes away, right?
Right. But yes, but most people get that deduction when they actually need it the most, when they're really just getting started. Younger homeowners and homeowners who just don't have the cash to pay it off right now.
One of the issues here is and why I think there could be bipartisan, why there is bipartisan agreement, at least on some limits, is that it's regressive. You get a bigger deduction with a bigger home.
Yeah, the richer
Homeowners
people get the biggest
and renters
deductions.
get no
Exactly.
deduction.
Yeah.
All right, folks, an interesting discussion. We'll wait and see what comes of this down the road. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
So we have about 39 minutes before the closing bell. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is higher by